Hi, everybody. Brian Mueller here, working on a new article. Police chief used a car as a weapon against man on bicycle. On a late July day in 2010, Brian Mueller was riding his bicycle in Bolm-Schuhkraft Park in Columbia, Illinois. David was unaware that a relative who had already conspired with local police to emotionally abuse him and commit criminal acts against him that year had attempted to file a completely bogus charge of domestic battery against him, in which it was alleged that David had struck the relative's arm with his fist. Despite the fact that David and the relative resided in different households, the false charge that was later dropped was for some reason described as domestic battery. Anyway, David noticed some Columbia police officers as he pedaled his bicycle up the hill on Parkview Drive and turned onto Park Street. But David was unaware that he was wanted by police that day. David turned off of Park Street onto the walking bicycle path in the park and started pedaling southwest on the path. As David pedaled his bicycle on this pedestrian path, he noticed that a police car, which was being driven by Chief Joe Edwards of the Columbia Police Department, suddenly and aggressively left Park Street and entered the pedestrian path. The car approached David from behind at a high rate of speed, so that David was forced to veer off the path and jump off of his bicycle, lest he be struck by the car. David injured his hand as he fell to the ground, and then Chief Joe Edwards exited his patrol car and ordered David to lie face down. Chief Edwards sat on top of David and placed handcuffs on him. After being emotionally abused and discriminated against by a group of Columbia police officers on Parkview Drive, David was taken by ambulance to a psychiatric unit of a nearby hospital and kept there under a police hold for several days. Upon release from the hospital, David posted bail money, but the domestic battery charge was later dropped. Had the case gone to trial, David would have presented evidence that local police had conspired with David's relatives to commit criminal acts against him and had engaged in a pattern of emotional abuse against him while knowing that he was emotionally disabled. What would have happened if a small child had been on the pedestrian path when Chief Edwards chased David down that day? Did he use good judgment doing this? This true and honest account of events presented here by Brian Mueller provides one more piece of evidence to show that David is a targeted individual. David's civil and constitutional rights have been violated over and over again by malicious local authorities, behavioral health employees, relatives, and others. David has complained many times to federal and state authorities and to civil liberties organizations such as the ACLU of Illinois and Equip for Equality. Nobody has ever offered to help David or to even take his complaints seriously and give him the benefit of the doubt. Thus, David continues to struggle to survive as a targeted individual, a psychiatric survivor, and a former captive of the very criminal justice system. Thanks for listening. Bye.